Hello, Allie.
Hello, Melissa. We are back again with Liverpool, USA, which is a best friends podcast because we're best friends.
Yeah.
And what are we going to talk about today?
I believe that we are talking about the concerts that we have attended thus far in 2023.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
also I think some of our like just general music opinions for 2023.
Yeah.
Maybe we can discuss some notable albums that have come out or things like that if we have any. Just because we normally do a conversation like this at the end of the year and it always goes on for too long and we have to cut ourselves off.
Yeah.
So we figured this year we'd do like a little mid-year recap.
yeah, I have like mostly actually I'm going to be completely honest, I did not take notes. I have just like my concert archives open, so I at least have a list of concerts I've been to this year. But I didn't really like go like think too hard into like music releases, but of course I will like, say stuff about that, and I think that that's like a good idea. Um
Yeah.
and like totally we should talk about that. But I'm not as prepared for that as I am for concerts. But
That's okay. You know
yeah.
what? I'm not super prepared either. We just talked for an hour before we started recording about
Yeah,
how
yeah,
chaotic life feels right
yeah. It's
now.
amazing because we literally just
So,
saw each other not that long ago. So I felt like it was okay to take just a second of a break, like from recording the podcast. Because I'm like, oh yeah, like we just saw each other, like we're all caught up.
yeah.
But the amount of stuff that's happened in the last couple weeks is just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's time to talk about music, please.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. If I think all the way back to March of this year, which I think was the I don't think I went to any concerts in January or February
Me too.
this
My
year.
first one looks like was in March, yeah.
And it was The Wonder Years was my first concert of 2023.
Uh, hell yeah. First and second concert.
Yes, yeah, back to back, night after night. So, starting out strong, seeing the Hum Goes On Forever tour, I cried both nights. And I do cry like fairly easily, I would say at concerts, like if it's something that is gonna like move me, it's gonna move me. But I was not expecting to cry the amount of tears that I did 2 nights in a row. Because also usually once I've seen something, like it can't make me cry more than once, you
Uh-huh.
know?
Yeah.
Like, and usually with songs and stuff too, like if I listen to a song and it makes me cry, it like only makes me cry like the first time I really like hear it. And
Mm.
then it's like, oh, okay, it already had that emotional effect on me. Like it's not going to do that again, because it's like the novelty wears off. But the Hum Goes On Forever set was absolutely like destroying.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I think the only Oh yeah, I remember because I like definitely cried the first night. For sure. Cuz it was
yeah,
so one thing that the Wonder Years is good at is just and of course we've talked extensively about is just like
yeah,
really hitting very specific emotional points in the brain, and
yes,
especially at I think it's like almost no matter what's going on in your life,
mm-hmm,
even if the song, whatever the subject matter of whatever song you're listening to is, even if it's not specifically, you know, relevant to whatever emotions you're experiencing, it will still hit like emotions, even if it's not relevant to the lyric matter. It's still like that emotion is still conveyed in a way that's um relatable. You know where I'm going with this. Yeah, they're just
yes,
like
yeah,
so good
absolutely.
at having, very very emotional songs that can be very relatable and like very cathartic, even if you don't relate to the exact situation in the song. In this case, I was relating to some exact situations in songs or exact like subject matter, and so it was
Yeah,
just like even more extra emotional. And I do remember, though, that, like, the first night I cried significantly more than the second night, because the second night I,
Mm,
like, there was more people around me that I knew, I think, and also, like, I
yeah.
wasn't wearing a mask, and I was, like, self-conscious. Like, I was still, like, into it, but
Oh, yeah.
I was like, there was still a part of my brain in the back that was like just aware that there were like people around me that could like see my whole face. And so it was like, my brain was like, do
Yeah.
I cry or not? Like, you know? Yeah.
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 Truly. Okay, I know the exact moment that I cried the most, and I cried about the same both nights. I think I probably also cried more the first night than I did the second night,
Yeah.
but like the specific moment in cuz like the last song they sang before like the encore was "You're the Reason I Don't Want the World to End,"
Mm.
which is, ruining in and of itself,
Yeah.
but like after hearing the full set list and then that's the end, and especially because they also like opened with "Doors I Painted Shut." But anyways, the
Yeah.
yeah, the last song being "You're the Reason I Don't Want the World to End," and having like an entire room around you scream "I don't want to die."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. It's like I'm feeling things right now as you're talking about it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So anyways, that was quite the start to 2023, even though I guess it was in March.
Yeah. My first, I don't know if you like want to do like a back and forth, or if you just wanted to like go through yours and then I go through mine, or I don't know what you want to do.
We can kind of just go back and forth and
Okay.
talk through the year. I think that
Cuz I
that
had a
works.
couple more concerts in March actually.
Okay.
Those were my last ones in March. Um but the
Mm.
first concert that I actually went to this year was on March 1st, and I saw Stoner Control at the Holocene, which is
Okay.
our dear friend Elise's boyfriend Charlie, that's his band.
Okay.
And I just remember that like they were advertising this a lot because it's at the Holocene, which is like, I mean, they're like a small local band, and it's a pretty decent sized venue for just a small local band. And so I was like,
Mhm.
and they were advertising it like it was a really big deal, and I'm like, yeah, this is like super cool, like it's a really big deal. So
Mhm.
I was like, we should go, and so I went, and it was so like it made me feel so good to see like how happy, because I didn't tell Elise or anything like before we went. I was just like, we should just go. And like how happy she was and how happy Charlie was, that we went, was just like so, it just like made me so happy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Aw.
this year I decided I'm like trying to make a real effort to like support my friends' art endeavors and stuff. Um
Yes.
and like be more purposeful about that kind of thing. um
Mhm.
and and I haven't like really done it a lot more yet, but like as a first example, I'm like, yeah, this is awesome, like it's cool music, like I'm supporting friends, like it feels good, like this is what I want to be doing. So it was super cool show. It was also the first time I've seen them.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, it was just like a really cool show. My second show was
Good.
Fiddlar, which was the second time that Justin and I have seen them. And the first time that we saw them, you remember, it was in college. And
Yeah.
it's like notorious for us because it was like when he decided that he like wanted to be in a relationship with me. Like he was like, I like this girl and I want to go for it. It was like at that show. Which
Yeah.
is so funny to me because it was like the first time that he saw me just be my completely insane concert self. Because I feel
Yeah.
like outside of concerts, I can be very, I don't know, like I'm not exactly like a party person, you know?
Yeah.
And like I don't really get out much. I don't go to bars. I don't do drugs or whatever. But like I'm at this show like screaming alcohol and stuff because they have a song that just like does that, and just like being insane, and like um and there's like a pit happening, and I'm like, okay, here's what you do, and he's like, what is happening right now? um
Yeah.
so this show, similar vibes. It was super awesome. They did the all girl mosh pit again, which is like, I've almost forgot how like scary it was. It's like I'm gonna die in here, I think,
Yeah.
but really fun at the same time. I don't know. It like just gets to a
Yeah.
point where you're like maybe this is too much, and then it's like over, and then you're like, okay, everything's fine, everyone's fine. Um,
Yeah.
so I'm making it sound like it was scary, but it was super fun actually.
No, yeah, I get it.
Yeah. I remember there was like one guy in there, and I think he even like fell on some girl, and I was like trying to pick her up, you know?
Yeah,
And
get out of here.
yeah, and I literally like I don't even think, because there's so much happening that you don't know who's around you or who's touching you or pushing you, you know, you're just being pushed.
Yeah.
But I just like put both hands on him and was just like, freaking get the hell out of it's not
Yeah.
your turn right now. Like, this all girl mosh pit for a reason. So yeah. And which was also super funny because of our specific history with our last Fiddler concert, is that a couple got engaged at that show.
Aw.
But it was also really interesting. I don't know, because specifically I think it was her and her partner, and then like a friend. I don't know if it was like her brother or a friend or what, but like the two guys were being like really obnoxious. And they were kind of like traveling through the crowd, so they didn't like stay next to us for a long time, thank goodness, because they were being like real obnoxious. And she was like not as intoxicated as them, you could tell, so she's like not quite like into it as much, you know, like being as obnoxious as they are. But then at some random point during the show, they were like, hey, we have like a friend in the crowd, like, what's his name, you know, like, come up here. And that guy walks to the stage, and I remember literally out loud I just went, that guy. I'm like, this guy.
Oh my god. That's funny.
And then literally like he pulls both of them up on stage, and he like gives a little speech and like proposes to her, and I'm like, oh, this is dramatic. Like, I just witnessed this couple be like, they weren't like not having a good time together, but it was like not like giving me I'm so in love with you vibes, and then they were engaged. So I'm
That's
like, okay. But it was really cute, and I'm like, you know, I wish the best for them, you know. But that was like that was entertaining. Yeah, and then I'm up to the Wonder Years now with you. So updated.
Oh wow.
That's March for me.
Yeah.
What was next for you?
After the Wonder Years, and I believe this was in the beginning of April, I saw Mom Jeans and Bearings, and actually it was just Mom Jeans and Bearings, I think.
Oh.
But yeah, so I like, and Bearings opened for Mom Jeans. It was the same show. But yeah, I had been really wanting to see Mom Jeans because I like kind of discovered them like last year, which like I know that they were already like in the realm of stuff that I was listening to, you know, but I just kind of randomly listened when they released their newest album. I like was like, okay, I'm gonna like listen to this album, and then I was like, oh, I actually like Mom Jeans a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And so then I like became a fan, and I tried to get tickets to the Seattle show, and they literally sold out like so fast.
Oh wow.
And so I was like, oh, I like couldn't go, like couldn't get tickets to see them in Seattle. And so I was like, damn, okay, like I guess I don't get to see them on this tour. But then they announced another like little run of shows like in Canada, like specifically in Canada. And one of the shows was in Vancouver, Canada, which is actually closer to me than Seattle is. So I was like, what are the odds? I like in my head, I was literally like, oh, it's gonna also sell out like so fast. Like I have to be like so on it. And literally the tickets were, first of all, like, I think I literally paid $20 for the tickets, like including fees. Like it was so cheap.
Slay.
Closer to my house.
Oh my gosh.
And the venue was like super cool. It was like this like
That's
movie
awesome.
theater.
Oh my gosh.
Like venue. It was like this super small venue. It did not sell out. Or actually I think it did eventually, but not like in a rush, you know. And so I just like got tickets and like had it, like went to this amazing show, and Bearings was opening, which I don't think Bearings was opening on the other like leg of the tour. And I'm like, oh, I like Bearings. Like this is like, it just worked out.
That's awesome.
And it was like on a Saturday night and everything. I was like,
oh my god. You're
okay,
like, wow, I'm glad I didn't get tickets for Seattle. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, just like a gift to me. And it was amazing. He brought out like his trombone, and he played trombone.
Oh my god.
In this like really specific moment of this really specific song that's like, so it was like perfect. I was like, this is what dreams are made of. Thank you, Mom Jeans.
Good. That's so cute.
Yeah. that was also like a really good concert experience for me.
Yeah. Did you have any other concerts in April?
I don't believe
I
so.
guess
No, I
I'm
think
going
my
like by month. I had one
yeah.
concert in April as well.
Okay.
And I saw Muse play with Evanescence and
Good.
Highly Suspect.
Wow.
Yeah, and of course it was at the Moda Center, and we got there
Yeah.
like a little late. It was like a little weird. We went with Langston, which was awesome
Yeah.
because what actually happened was Langston, always gets 2 tickets to shows because he doesn't want to go alone. But he like doesn't plan beforehand. He just like buys 2 tickets, and then a
Yeah.
lot of the time now, like Justin will be like the second ticket, because they just like have a really similar taste in music anyway, which I think is really sweet. So
Yeah.
he just ends up like getting the second ticket a lot. Um, but I couldn't help but overhear when they were talking about this concert, Muse, and I was like, hello. I would love to see
Yeah.
them, please, because I've never seen them, and they were like top 3 for me in high school for a while. Like,
Yeah.
Muse was really big for me, and I still like them. And so I was like, hell yeah, and Evanescence? That's pretty cool.
Abe loves Highly Suspect.
Really? Okay, so
Yes.
I knew the one song. I think it's called like Lydia that's on the radio. And I love
Mm-hmm.
that song. It's like on my playlist. It's a jam. I love it. But I didn't know anything else. And we got there and we're like rushing, like we're like getting in, and Highly Suspect starts playing, and we're like, oh crap, because we were like a little bit late, you know. And I ended up going with Nicole. Like I think I helped her buy a ticket so she could like go with us. Because I wanted her to
Yeah.
go. Because Muse, you know, like also big for her. So so that was like nice. So we get in and I like find links and I get to my seat. But I think I was like, we were outside, like we weren't to our seats yet. And I'm like, I just want to hear them play that one song that I know. Like that's all I care about. I just like need to get there before they play Lydia. And then it
Yeah.
started when I was like in the hall and I'm like, no!
Oh.
And, like I'm like running, like trying to get to
Oh
my
my
seat.
god.
And like
Yeah.
find Langston and get to my seat, and like the song's playing and I'm like jamming out as I'm getting to my seat. And they were super fun live, and they played a couple other songs. Actually, their whole set was like, okay, this like hits, like this is a jam. And Nicole found a couple of the songs afterwards, so I like added a couple. So like I added a couple more. But I'm like, I get it. I would like I only know a few songs now, like that are like on my playlist, you know, because I heard them live. But I'm like, yeah, I would get if you were super into them, because they like obviously have more than one banger.
Abe put this song by them on like a playlist that he made for me like right when we first started dating.
Oh,
and I know
yeah.
it's like a deep cut.
Uh-huh.
Because like I don't really know like a ton by them. I just like
Mhm.
kind of know what he's shown me. But there's this one song called Chicago by them.
Okay.
And I think it's kind of a deep cut. I actually don't know, but based on like the Spotify play counts, I think it's kind of a deep cut.
Oh, okay.
And it goes so hard. It's so good.
Okay.
So that's my recommendation to you.
Okay. Yeah. I'll have to, when I like listen to this later to edit it, I'll like hear that and be like, oh, I need to listen to that song.
Yeah.
And then I'll do it.
Good.
Yeah, and then Evanescence, of course, was absolutely incredible. And Amy Lee
Yeah.
sounds just, if possible, even better than she does recorded live.
Yeah.
And she's just,
Wow.
like, I just can't, you know, really just define in words how incredible she was, because of course she is, because she's an absolute icon.
Yeah.
And I don't know a ton by Evanescence. I know like a handful. Like I know the hits, but they have like quite a few hits. And of course they played them.
Yeah.
So, and when they did freaking what's it called? I always forget because everybody just calls it like the Wake Me Up Inside song, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, that's not what it's called. And so they played that, and at the, you know how it has like the guy in it? Oh, Bring Me to Life. It has the guy part in it, and it has like a little like rap part like for the bridge. And at first, like the first like couple choruses or whatever, they just didn't have that. Like it was just her singing, and the people in the crowd, you know, were like doing the guy part, which was cute. But then the guy from Highly Suspect comes out and like does the rap part and like the bridge, and then like does like the guy part for like the last chorus, which was like super fun. Yeah.
That's so fun. I love
Yeah,
that.
yeah, it was really fun. He
Oh
looked
my
okay,
God.
so when I first walked in and I like just got a glimpse of him cuz he's not like a young guy, you know, he's like a
Yeah.
fully grown man. But when I first just like got a glimpse of him like on the monitor when I walked in, he looked like a freaking SoundCloud rapper. He's got like tattoos on his face and stuff and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Who's this kid?"
Yeah.
But then when I really saw him more, I was like, "Oh, he's like a like not a kid, like he's a full grown man who just happens to have face tattoos, and I just like
Yeah.
associate that with SoundCloud rappers now.
Yeah.
But
That's so funny.
yeah, but yeah, so that was super fun. And then Muse, of course, was absolutely incredible. Just absolutely incredible. Like if anybody can produce a show that fills a venue like the Moda Center, because I've seen bands play at venues that are really big and it's almost like I don't know what it is. It's almost like it doesn't fill the room, you know. It's like this room is too big for your
Mm-hmm.
production. Muse freaking oh my god. It was so incredible. They played a couple songs I didn't think they'd play that that made like my high school and my current self really really happy. Um
Mm.
and they had the scariest stage setup that I've ever seen in my entire life. Did I tell you about this before when I saw them?
Oh,
They had
you
like this
did
running
actually.
theme through the show where they played videos and stuff
Yeah.
of and it had, you know, like apocalypse theme and it had like characters that had these like metal like the masks almost looked like they were made out of like mirrors or something, like it was this like metallic material. And
Mm-hmm.
when they came out on stage they were all wearing them, of course, which was cool. But they had like a giant like a bust with one hand of this like character like bigger than you think it is, like
Mm-hmm.
bigger than this house for sure, like huge, like taking up
Mm-hmm.
the whole state. And the hand moved and
Oh
it
my
like
God.
swiveled back and forth. It was like so freaking scary actually. I'm like, this is how do you set this up, how are they hiding this behind the
Yeah.
stage? um and then for the encore, they played Knights of Sidonia. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. Sidonia? I don't know. But
Yeah.
it's a song that like I kind of thought was a deep cut. I was like kind of surprised they played it for the encore. But it was super cool to see live. It was amazing. And they
Yeah.
somehow changed, like I don't know where they put it. I'm like, how big is backstage at the Motor Center? Because they changed the giant thing behind the stage to like the enemy's bust, but it was like a giant, like a man bull face. It's like a guy with a bull like
Wow.
helmet on is essentially what it looks like. And so it's got like these huge horns and his eyes were glowing and he had like arms with hands that were kind of like the hands were kind of like facing upward like in a
Wow.
villain pose, I guess. I don't know. But those were like on the side of the stage. I don't know. It was like amazing.
That's insane.
And like terrifying because I'm like how do you have something that big? I don't know. But the production crew, just like props to them for sure.
Yeah.
But that was just
I
amazing.
yeah. I'm
Yeah.
kind of realizing as you're talking that I haven't been to any like big production shows in 2023. I've only been to like
Yeah.
small little like yeah.
Yeah.
Like the biggest thing I've seen so far this year was like the Wonder Years.
Oh
Which like
wow. Yeah. Yeah.
is not that big.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, what
yeah,
about May?
I
Unless you
in
had
May
something
I
else to
went
say, yeah.
yeah, in May I went to one concert. I saw the headliner was the band Half Alive
Oh
and the opener
yeah.
was Tessa Violet.
I think I saw someone like wearing a Half Alive shirt recently and I thought about you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this was interesting because I was originally supposed to go with Abe, but then Abe was out of town. So I took my other friend Michaela and we both kind of were just like, we're just here, like whatever, like we're just not letting tickets go to waste and like we're like, not haters, but we're also not like,
Yeah. And you like Tessa Violet
you
like a
know.
pretty decent amount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm happy to see Tessa Violet, like, yeah, I'm like gonna have a good time.
Yeah.
She was kind of same, and we get there and Tessa Violet was so good. Tessa Violet knows how to put on a concert. Like, let me tell you what.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is something I wanted to bring up with you because I don't think I like mentioned it when I was talking to you about this before.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe I did. But she didn't play the same song twice.
Oh, yeah, I don't remember if you mentioned that. Okay.
So the first two times that I saw her once with you, like opening, and then I saw her headline like last year sometime. And both times she played like on her set list somewhere, she played like a song twice, like the same
Yeah.
song. And so I was like, oh, is this her like thing? Like she's done it twice. And I saw her like years apart. So it's like it wasn't like just
Yeah.
on like one tour or something. It was like completely like separate, like years apart. And she did that both times. This time I was like, is she gonna do it again? She was also opening. And she did not do that. She did not do that. She just played a normal
Which I feel
set
like
list.
is a good decision. Like, I feel like there's a reason why people do, like, that's the only time I've ever seen, or maybe even heard of anybody doing that before. I think it's like it's a little odd. I don't really like know why you would do that.
Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, so she was so good when we saw her open. She was opening, the show was already like kind of a small show, and she was the opener, but she was acting like she was like the headliner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She was like, she was wearing like a whole outfit. She was like, you know, doing the most in like the best way. She has this like pink outfit that she wears.
Oh.
And it's like, yeah, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like pink armor kind of.
Oh. That's
that
cute.
she like wears. And then she has her like yellow hair, you know? And it's just like it's so good.
Wow, does she still have yellow hair?
Yes.
That's a commitment
she is,
to
like,
the bit. Committed. I respect that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyways, she was so good, and I was telling you about this after it actually happened, but the crowd was really not there for Tessa. They were there for Half Alive, which, you know, I understand. You're not always there for the opener, but you know, she was really doing the most. Like, she was in a whole outfit. She was like really like putting her full like energy into it. And like I kind of felt like I was the only one like singing along, you know, or like even caring that she was performing. And so she kind of like said something about it on stage. She was kind of like, oh, if you like actually know who I am,
yeah,
like I'll be at my like merch booth if you want to say hi. Because I know like a lot of like she said it very nicely and like poignantly when she said it on stage so that it wouldn't sound judgmental, but like it was kind of like, if you actually care about me, like I'll be here, but like I know most of you don't.
Yeah.
And so then Half Alive came on, and you know, I'm not a hater. I'm really not a hater, but it was not exactly what I was expecting, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. I like read their Wikipedia page. Like, I was like telling Justin about it, and I like read like their Wikipedia page and stuff after that, and there was nothing that implied that their show would be like what you described it to be like.
Yeah, and it wasn't like it wasn't like overtly, like they weren't like talking about it like a lot or anything.
Yeah.
For the listener, like they are kind of like a Christian band, which I did not know.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think they do try to be like, this is why I was describing it this way. It feels very like youth pastor to me. Feels very like, oh, we're cool though. Like we don't like they're not like preaching about it, you know what I mean? But they are like, they're just like kind of like hidden message. You know what I mean? Like they're just kind of trying to like,
it's so interesting.
Yeah, to make it like seem cool. Like they're like, we're the cool church with like acoustic guitars, you know?
Yeah.
You're like, okay. So anyways, I'm not a hater. It was fine. Probably not like ending up being like one of my fave bands, but you know, and then so yeah, then we went and like met Tessa Valley because we were like, well, we actually care about her, so
yeah,
you know, and like yeah, and there was like no line. We just like got to like walk right up to her and like say hi and like talk, like actually like talk to her, which was cool. And I like bought this little vinyl from her, and she like signed it and everything, and very wholesome, very good concert experience for the most part. And yeah, that was my May concert, and that was the last concert I went to. I did not go to anything in June.
Wow, okay. I went to 3 concerts in May, 0 in June, and I've already been to 1 this month.
Okay, well.
In May, it was another concert with Langston. It was Shinedown, 3 Days Grace, and From Ashes to New.
Okay.
Which I have never. Yeah, I've never seen From Ashes to New, and I actually haven't listened to them before. I don't know what I like expected. They were like rap metal vibes. Yeah. Like they had like a guy who like rapped.
Yeah. My mom likes From Ashes to New a
Oh,
lot.
okay. Well, yeah, that checks out.
Yeah,
They did
it's her
play
vibe
a
for
show with
sure.
3 Days Grace and Shinedown, so like that checks out
Yeah,
for your
yeah,
mom. Um,
yeah.
yeah, it was like it was good. I remember enjoying it quite a lot actually. And then Shinedown, or no, Three Days Grace was next. Of course, I've seen them,
Yeah.
before. Have I seen them more than once? Yes, I've seen them at least twice that I can immediately think of. Only with Matt, who's like the newer singer. I say that
Yeah.
like they haven't had him as the singer for literally years and years now, and Adam Gontier hasn't been their vocalist since
I
for
think
like a
the
decade.
only like notable thing, like for me in my head, I'm like, oh well, it matters because the 3 Days Grace album that like matters a lot to me is
Yes,
One
is
X,
1X.
and
Yeah,
that's like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Anyways,
yeah. I'm like one of those fans that everything that Adam was on, I like a lot more than when Matt joined, which is like I'm not saying I hate it or anything. Like I'm not a hater,
but it's
but
different. Yeah.
yeah, it's different. Yeah. Um yeah. And they did really good. They played like their set list was mostly like, and it could have also been because they were an opener, but it was mostly like the hits. Like they didn't play like a
Yeah.
lot of newer stuff. They played like a lot of older 3 Days Grace, which I think like makes sense, I guess, especially
Yeah.
like if you're an
Yeah.
opener. And they haven't, like, it's been like a little bit since they've released an album, so it's not like they're touring for an album or anything like that.
Yeah.
But of course it was good, and I've seen them before. It was good. It was super fun. Nothing, no real
Yeah.
criticisms there. I love seeing Brad, the bassist. Love him. When
Yeah.
I was younger, I kind of had like a little bit of like a musician crush on him, but
Yeah.
in the way, like, do you know what he looks like? He's really beefy,
Yeah.
actually. I feel like you'd see him be like, really? Like,
Yeah.
you, like, that wasn't your type. You were into skinny emo boys. And turns out,
No, but I get it though.
yeah. He's one of the reasons why I wanted a lip piercing, because he actually has a lip piercing, like, exactly like the one that I have.
Yeah.
And that was, like, one of the reasons why there was a lot of musicians that had that, and I'm like, I want to be like them. So that was one of them. And so yeah, that was fun. It was like very nostalgic. And then Shinedown, of course, is good. This was a concert that I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I would have like gone if like Langston and Justin weren't also going, just because
Yeah.
I've seen them before. I had been to other concerts and I was like, I'm like good. Like, I don't feel like I
Yeah.
need to see them. I didn't really love Shinedown's newest album, which is the one that they were touring for.
I feel that. Yeah.
And
I hear you.
Justin liked it, but he has a lot more of a like, he has broader music taste than I do. Like, I'll just be completely honest. Like, he just does.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Yeah.
more of like those people who will like criticize, like people will like criticize movies, and then there's the people who are like, I'm just trying to have fun. He's like that kind of person, and I'm like more of like the critic. So I did not love there's a couple songs that I like added to my playlist. I'm like, sure, these pass. Everything that they played live was good though. Like the songs, it didn't make me like, a couple of them I was like, I'm still not gonna like add this to my playlist because I just don't enjoy it that much. But everything that they played, even the new songs live, was really good. Of course, because Shinedown is really good live. They are just a really good live band.
They are really good live.
Yeah, and I don't remember his name. Is it Zach, the vocalist? He's just like a really good performer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a fantastic performer.
Brent is vocals.
Brent, okay.
Zach is guitar.
Oh, okay. I think I just like heard them say his name, so it's the only reason why I thought maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love Shinedown.
Yeah.
I, to be honest, have not even listened to their newest album. The last album that I paid attention to was Attention,
which is good, which is a good album.
Which is a good album. Yeah. So that's I'm just like choosing to keep that as my
I think that Threat to Survival, and maybe it was just the time in my life that it came out, but that like might be my favorite album by them. Threat to Survival is a really good album. Attention, I think is a good album, but not as good as Threat to Survival. And when you try to follow up that, it's hard. So I don't know.
I get that. Yeah. No, I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Threat to Survival is very good as well. I have to say, like, their first couple of albums, like, just hold so much, like, nostalgia to me.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah.
know, because like I grew up listening to that. Like my mom listened
Mm-hmm.
to like every Shinedown album as soon as it came out. So
Oh yeah,
yeah, the one Sound of Madness
yeah.
that like a
I
lot for
think
me.
that Sound of
Anyway,
Madness specifically, I wasn't quite the same as that, like, growing up, but I definitely had, like, a hefty amount of, like, I was familiar with Shinedown and really liked the songs that I knew, especially in high
yeah.
school when I was, like, getting really into that kind of music, you know? And,
Mhm.
and Sound of Madness, I remember thinking when I saw it live this last time, because I've seen it live a few times now. I've seen them a few times. Um,
Yeah.
and I was just like, yeah, this is like one of my favorite songs probably ever. It's just like goes so hard. I
It
love that
does.
song so much. Like specifically Sound of Madness. And I like
Yes.
forget that they do Second Chance. And then I hear it and I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my god, yeah.
God. Yeah.
Icons. And I think it was their last night of the tour, so I think they played an extra long set list, which was like kind of a treat.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were just like having some fun.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's always fun
Having
when
some.
you are like on the last night of tour because I feel like bands are more like,
Yeah.
like just kind of like, vibing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, so that
Good.
was that was an awesome show. Yeah. My last show in May, I saw Glacier Veins.
Good.
Yeah.
Yes.
I saw them at this, I think it's a newer little bar venue in Portland called Mono Occulta. It's kind
You
of
know, I've
like
actually heard of that. Maybe just
really
because you talked about it, but maybe not.
maybe, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like spooky. It gives like Day of the Dead vibes, I guess. Yeah, is
Okay,
like what I could
good.
say. Yeah. Um and they were really good, and of course, she recognized me. I feel so bad that I always hesitate saying her name because it's like I forget how to pronounce it. Um
Mm.
Malia?
Is it Malia?
I
I
think
think
it's
it's just
Malia.
Malia.
I
Yeah.
literally I don't know why. I like get so weird about it, but I like feel like I'm gonna pronounce it wrong, and so I like never say it out
Yeah.
loud.
No, I get.
But
Yeah, I get
but
it.
she recognized me again, which just feels like so sweet. I'm like, oh my god, and she's just like a ray of sunshine. And
She is so nice.
yeah, I brought Nicole because I was like, you should come like do this with me, and she went, and it was like a super fun like little girls concert night, and
Good.
and so I like introduced her to Nicole and she was super sweet. Oh yeah, you know now because Nicole got you that shirt, got you that Glacier Vein shirt.
Yes, and
Yeah.
it's too freaking hot to wear a
I
black long
know.
sleeve shirt,
I
but
know. It's just
I
like been
love
in
it
my
though.
closet. Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't wear it yet. But yeah, so she's just so sweet and I told her I was like, "Listen, I don't know if it works this way, but I noticed that like she was the only person like manning the merch booth the whole time, like, and it's like her
Yeah.
show. So I'm like, hey, if you're like, because they just moved down to LA, and so this was like their first time being back up in Portland playing a show since they moved down to LA, and
Yeah.
I was like, hey, when you're like in town, if you like want someone to run the merch booth while you're like busy, I would volunteer to do that. Like I would like help you out. I don't know if that's like weird. I don't know if that's like not how that works, but I'm just gonna like put that out there. And she was like, "Oh, that's really sweet." Like she basically really kindly declined. Was like no, because she was like, "Oh, I like really like, like being able to talk to people, after the show and stuff." And
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
but she's like, but I'll like keep that in mind, so she was like really sweet about it. But I'm just like, girl, when you are like on stage and stuff, or when you're like away like doing busy stuff because it's your show, I will be here for free for networking. I would literally do
For
that.
networking.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get it though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but it was just I don't know. It was super fun. And I genuinely like I think it's really sweet my like progression with them cuz I heard about them in
Hmm.
college. I interviewed them for my senior project. I finally saw them like the first show in Portland I think they played after the pandemic, and she recognized me then, which was like a few years after I interviewed her for my senior project. So I thought it was so
Yeah.
cute that she like recognized me and it made me feel so good. Um, and then I saw them again and I like genuinely like their albums. Like I've been following them. They've released like 2 albums since I've been following them. And
Hmm.
they're just like killing it. And I love her music. Yeah.
Good.
So I'm just like Look at them go. Yeah, so that was super
Yeah.
fun, really sweet. Um,
Yeah.
oh, May 28th, I have one more concert in May. Was I
Good.
saw Brick and Mortar with Justin. Have you ever heard of Brick and Mortar?
I don't think so.
So I didn't realize because before we were like dating, there was I think it
Mm-hmm.
was Brick and Mortar. There was a song we like made each other these playlists. I think this is where I heard it. We made each other these playlists like before and right after we like started dating. Because music is important to us. So we're like
Yeah.
like trying, like getting each other to listen to each other's music, all that kind of stuff. And really cute stuff. And there was this song, I think it was called Bangs by Brick and Mortar, and I was like, this is a freaking bop. Like, I like this. And
Yeah.
so since then it's just kind of been like a band that he's been into. Every once in a while I hear a song, and he's super into them. And then they're coming around, they're playing a tour. I'm like, okay, cool. It's at Mississippi Studios. I've heard of it. I've never been before. So I'm like, okay, cool, let's go. And it's like
Good.
so small. It's such a freaking small venue. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, how did you even hear about this band? Like, I
Yeah.
didn't know that they were this small. Like, I thought that they were like bigger than this. Cause they're
Yeah.
good. They're like really cool. Um, and it's this guy. He was saying how old he was. He's like in his late 30s or something like that. It's just
Mm-hmm.
two guys. First of all, didn't think it was just two guys, which has happened to me multiple times. That a band will come out on
Yeah.
stage and start playing, and I'm like, this is
I can't
what.
believe Origami Angel
Yes,
is
exactly. That's what I was
literally
thinking
just
about. Yeah, I'm
two
like,
dudes.
this is the whole band. Are you sure? Yeah. And the guy looks nothing like what his voice sounds like. I might even like have you listen to a song at some point and be like, okay, don't look them up. What
Yeah.
do you think he looks like? Because he, to
Yeah.
me, looks nothing like I thought he would. And he was just like two, just like really chill guys. And I guess they work like in the production business. Like they do like stage setup stuff and like crew like show stuff for big bands, like back where they come from, I think like on the East Coast. um
Sure.
so they're just like very familiar with the industry and just like so chill, and afterwards they were just like hanging out, and Justin bought a poster that they signed. And it was
Heck
just
yeah.
like, yeah, it was super cool. The openers were super cool. It was a very gay punk rock band, and
Good.
and also very gay. I don't even know what I would describe it as. Is it ska? I don't know. It was like there was horns, but it was also kind of punk rock, but it was like also, I don't know. It was like really
Mm-hmm.
cool opening bands.
Okay.
Jiraiya, I think is how you pronounce like the name of the second act. But
Okay.
yeah, and it was super fun, and I only knew like two songs, but it was awesome. Yeah, so I totally get, like you were saying, you've only been to small shows this year, and I'm like, small shows is where it's at.
It really is. Honestly, like, okay. I know you have like one more show to talk about
Yes.
before we're caught up,
Yeah.
but I feel like I cannot go on without talking about Taylor Swift's freaking tour.
Taylor Swift's tour?
Taylor Swift is touring right now.
But yeah, but you're not going, right? You didn't. Did
No,
you?
I'm not going.
I didn't
No.
think so.
No, and the reason I'm not going is not because I'm not a Taylor Swift fan. Like, let's be so clear.
Yeah.
But it's because
It's
I don't
like
want to
impossible
go
to get a ticket.
to, like,
yeah.
First of all, I'm not going to spend hundreds of dollars,
Yeah.
and second of all, I'm not going to go to like a big arena show like that. Like, it's not fun.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like, it is fun, but it's not like
I get it. Like, I would
fun.
still do it, but it's like, no, I totally get what you're talking about. Like smaller venues,
but, like,
yeah,
I'm a smaller venues girl. Like, I don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be with that many people. I don't want to be like standing in line half the time. I don't want to be like have it be impossible to like drive there and park and like it's just like it's such a headache.
It is
to like go to the big like venue shows when I could just pay $20 and then be 2 feet away from the trombone and then
exactly
say hi afterwards. It's like so anyways, the Taylor Swift tour I do want to mention just because I think even though I'm not going and I don't, I'm not like sad really that I'm not going. I do think that like this tour is kind of like record setting. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
for
it's
sure.
Kind of
100%.
It's kind of insane.
It is.
She literally,
it's
I was like
incredible.
reading it up, like the set list and everything, and I've been like watching some stuff about it.
Mm-hmm.
She literally plays like 45 songs.
Oh my god, how long is that?
That's like almost, it's like more than 3 hours.
Oh my god, I didn't know that. Oh my god. That's incredible.
It's insane.
I have the girl that the co-host of the podcast I've been listening to that I talk about all the time. She got to go because she has a friend, like a new friend that like had a ticket, and she just ended up being able to go, and she was talking
Oh my
about it and
God.
how lucky she was. And she's like a Swiftie now. She's like obsessed now. She's like
This
so
thing is like,
yeah.
it's impressive.
Yes.
And
Oh
like
my
also
gosh.
every night she like, there's 2 songs on the set list, and every night she like changes what those 2 songs are.
Oh, that's so
So
fun.
like, and so it's been going on since like, it's like for months. Like this is like it's such a long tour. There's like literally probably
Yes.
like 100 and something dates or something.
Yeah.
But she has not repeated a song during those like
Wow.
she like does a different one every time, and it's always
Oh,
like
that's
she never
so
messes
fun.
up.
She does have
Just
a
like,
pretty extensive discography at this point.
she really does.
Yeah, she's an
And
icon. Like, on one hand,
yeah,
I haven't listened to her music in a long time. I was so big on her first handful of albums when I was younger. We've talked about this before.
yes,
Um,
yeah,
and like Reputation, I can't handle some of the honestly some of the stuff I hear on the
no,
radio. I'm like, maybe it's just me being like an emo kid now, but like I can't, I'm sorry, Taylor. I'm sorry. Not all of them are
yeah,
gonna be a hit. I'm sorry, but
yeah.
I didn't listen to the Folklore albums. I like tried when Folklore came out, but I haven't listened to like the other ones, and I'm like, I don't know, like maybe I should give it a try again because people love them so much, and I'm like,
Yeah, including
what?
me, to be honest. But
Yeah, but maybe I
well,
should
boy, do
try
I have
again.
news for you. Boy, do I
Yeah,
have news for you, because do you know what comes out in 20 minutes?
20
Literally 20
minutes.
minutes from now.
Another album?
Is Speak Now Taylor's
Oh, Speak
version.
Now. Oh my god. Okay, what was one that
And
she released? Yeah.
there's a Fall Out Boy feature and a Paramore feature.
Yes. Okay, yes. I did see something about that, but I didn't realize that it was happening like now. But I did see something about that. And speaking
Yeah.
of Fall Out Boy, I will use this as a segue before I mention my
Yes.
last concert. I'm going to mention a concert that I don't get to go to, that I am incredibly sad about, and I cannot
Yeah.
stop thinking about it. And honestly, it's kind of pathetic how sad I am about it. Is that I
No,
can't
but I
see
get
Fall
it.
Out
Yeah.
Boy.
I know. Well,
And
because they're like not coming here.
no,
Like,
okay, so I
hello?
literally am part of this like emo group chat on Discord that I almost never participate in. Like I only am in we have like a separate specific chat on Discord for vanity plates, and I am active in that most of everything. I'm like just there to post pictures of license plates and look at them. But anyway, so I posted in like a chat because I was like, okay, I have to rant about it because they're playing in Mountain View tonight. Or last night I think they played in Mountain View, and I think tonight they're playing in Salt Lake City, which were the two closest dates to Oregon, Washington. And they're literally
Yeah.
not close at all. And those are the dates that, like, when they announced the tour earlier this year, I was, like, looking at plane tickets, and I'm like, do I have friends in other states? I don't know. I'm just like, I'm so legitimately sad. Like, Bring Me the Horizon is opening for them, which is one reason,
Yeah.
and I would love to see them. Maybe
Yeah.
that's controversial. I don't know, but I would love to see Bring Me the Horizon. I do like them, and this is the first time that they're doing a tour where they're headlining. They're not doing any weird co-headliners. They're not playing at super huge venues. Their set list is apparently, according to people who were like big fans and go to a lot of their shows, is like better than it has been in years. They keep pulling out like songs that they've never played or that they haven't played in years, and like
Yeah.
deep cuts,
Yeah.
and like
I'm telling you, Taylor Swift is influencing them.
I can't. I can't.
I know.
Can't handle it.
Okay,
I'm so
I know.
sad. I keep
know.
thinking like someone else. There was like someone from Seattle in the group chat that was actually responding to me because I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna rant. Like no one even has to respond. Like I'm just gonna
Yeah.
rant for a second, and because I'm so legitimately sad about it. And
Yeah.
and they're doing like. Oh, because you also mentioned how she's playing like a random song every night.
Yeah.
They're doing
Yeah.
something similar, I think. I keep seeing it's like hard for me for whatever reason. I'm not on social media quite enough to like be a part of when everybody's talking about the tour and stuff. Like I don't follow enough
Yeah.
people, I guess, that are specifically Fall Out Boy fans, but they're doing some kind of Magic 8 Ball thing that sounds like it's something like that. Like they do like a Magic 8 Ball thing in the middle of the show, and I think it like has a song, like a random song. I don't know. But
Interesting.
there's so much, and I'm so sad, And what was the last thing I was gonna say? I don't even remember. But I'm really sad about it. Oh,
Okay,
I was talking to this person and we were like, okay, maybe, because it does seem like, and maybe it's just me thinking specifically about the Pacific Northwest, but it does kind of seem like they're skipping like
yeah.
like parts of America that they shouldn't be. And I'm like, well, maybe they're gonna announce a second leg. Like maybe it won't be like for a little bit, but like maybe they'll come around. I'm hoping.
Maybe, I hope.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I have not listened to the new album enough. Like I listened to it like once, kind of, and that's it.
Oh, uh-huh.
But I want it to be good so bad.
Okay,
so I think that.
Listen, I like it.
Okay, good.
And maybe
well,
it's just me, like, I wasn't huge on Mania. There are songs that I really like, and a lot of it I've grown to like more over time. But honestly, I kind of like the new album.
Okay, well, I need to listen to it then, and like really just like listen.
Yeah, and I don't know if part of it is because I went to the Music Millennium like a couple. It was a week. Was it a week or just a couple days? It was a while before the album was released, and they were doing a special thing with record stores where you could pre-order a special limited edition of their vinyl, and you can hear, like, they played the album like over the speakers in the store for the first time, like before anybody could hear it, and in between some of the songs it had like commentary from Patrick and Pete, which was really cool. And I went to that, and so I have the very limited exclusive Coke bottle clear vinyl from that, because I pre-ordered it, and I got to hear the album, and just hearing it there for some reason also like had an effect on me. And then when I heard it again, it just like felt so special because I like heard it, you know, like before, like most people.
Yeah, no,
and
I get that.
I don't know what it is, but I like it. And Patrick, like, I remember maybe it was something that he had talked about or something that I read. I don't remember which one it was, but he, ever since, like, for a while now, I think, like, specifically around pandemic time, maybe, he started doing scoring for TV shows as, like, as a career, like, as another job that he also has been doing for a while. And he said that this album, and I feel like I could tell, maybe it's just me making it up, but I feel like I could tell that with this album, he like understands music composition more now than he ever has. And so there's things that he can convey in musical ways that he can like successfully convey to people now that he wasn't able to before. And so like it kind of like, you know, made the musical process different in like a better way. Yeah, and they're just
that
like,
is good. Like that excites me. You know, like that makes me want to.
And there's guitar, more, you know? Like there's guitar. There's like, the only thing that I think is weird about it, like the only thing, is some songs to me sound like other songs, and I can't think of what songs they sound like. That's the weird. Only thing that I will say that is like, I don't necessarily know if that's a bad thing, but some songs have vibes that I'm like, this sounds like another song to me, but I don't know what it is.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have to listen to it and like report back.
Yeah.
But because I really have like only listened to it like really like half-assed. Like once.
Yeah.
You know, so like I need to like actually listen to it.
Yeah.
Please talk about the
okay, I will.
Concert that you have attended.
And then I think, unless you really want to, we're at like 53 minutes now, so we don't have to talk about music wrap-ups. We could just do a concert like roundup and then whatever.
I think that's good.
Yeah, I think that's fine. So the last show that I will talk about, which was my most recent show on July 1st, so like just last weekend, I saw Nickelback.
Yes.
With my mom and my sister.
Yeah, we saw Nickelback together once.
Yes.
And was it your first time seeing Nickelback?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was like a really specific moment in my life.
Yeah.
And like I feel like in our friendship and just I don't know, like us kind of like becoming like, I don't know. Obviously we paid money and like went to the concert like before the concert. But like I feel like it like made us Nickelback fans.
No, okay? I totally get what you mean, because like I grew up listening to Nickelback. My mom had a couple CDs, and so I've just known them like my whole life. And I've liked them.
Exactly.
I like Nickelback, and I have my whole life, because my brain, part of my brain chemistry when it was growing as a sponge as a small child was listening to Nickelback. So, you know, like I like them. And But I don't think it was until after that concert, because when they were touring, they had released I don't remember what the album was called. But I hadn't like listened to it beforehand. I was like, I don't know. Not until after that concert did I become the type of person who will specifically listen to a Nickelback album after they release one. Like
Same.
purposefully look them up,
Same.
and like, because I just knew songs, I was like, whatever, like I just know songs. But I became the type of person who will like follow them somewhat, like not hardcore or
Yeah.
anything, but and so I did
Yeah.
listen to their new album, and I do like it.
I like it
It's
too.
not, I'm like, this literally just sounds like Nickelback. Like, it's not like brand new, show stopping, like never
For
been
sure.
done. It's just a Nickelback album, but it's good.
But it's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I like Nickelback, and I know that they put on a really good show.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that
it was
this
so
was no
fun.
exception.
Yeah. It was, so when we saw them, Seether opened for them. Super amazing.
Yes.
You like Seether, right?
I like Seether a
You
lot.
liked,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, because I think I don't remember who it was. It was like Justin was like, Allie listens to Seether, and I was like, yeah, I think so. We were like both really into it when we saw them.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I grew up listening to Seether.
Yeah,
my mom
exactly.
liked Seether.
Yeah, okay, so exactly, yeah. I actually wore the shirt that I got from that show to this Nickelback show. I wore my Seether shirt.
Good.
Yeah, and even though no one, like literally no one knew, what it meant, but I was like, this is cute. I'm gonna wear it.
Yeah.
2 country artists opened. Like country
I could
rock.
totally see it.
Yeah, which is very different from Seether. It was Josh
Yeah.
Ross and Brantley Gilbert, which I actually
literally have no idea who.
I actually recognized a couple Brantley Gilbert songs, which I was like kind of surprised. I was like, oh, I know this. And then I didn't know that, okay, who originally does Blue on Black? You know that song Blue on Black?
No, maybe, but I don't know.
Okay, honestly, it hits. It's
Oh, I for sure know Bottoms Up by Brantley Gilbert.
Oh,
I didn't know I did, but I
yes,
definitely.
yeah.
Okay.
It's the Kenny Wayne Shepherd band, which is like not a band that you've heard of, but Blue on Black, Tears on a River, Push on a Shove, Don't Mean Much, Joker on Jack, Match on a Fire.
I don't know.
Okay,
but
I'm not gonna sing it, but you can get some of the lyrics.
Yeah.
But
okay.
I feel like you would know it if you heard it, but maybe not. But
okay.
I guess it's a country song, but I learned like, because I looked it up because he was like telling a story about it, and then they did it, and and they played it, and I was like, oh, and there's actually like, because Five Finger Death Punch did the cover, they've done a cover of it. And a lot of people know the cover, but I didn't know that the original guy, like, helped out with that. And it was, like, Five Finger Death Punch and Brantley Gilbert and, like, a couple other artists were, like, all part of that, like, cover. I didn't, like, realize that it was, like, a thing that...
Interesting.
Yeah, they, like, all part of. But anyway, that was very interesting because I don't think I've ever, like, sat and watched an entire country set. Wait, no, that's a lie. I think I saw a country artist when I saw Maroon 5 at the Whiskey Music Festival, but I don't even think I really saw their whole set. Like, I was, like, sitting and, like, watched, like, the whole set, and I don't think I've ever really done that before. I didn't, like, hate it or anything, but...
through the titles of songs by Brantley Gilbert, and it's...
wow. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, he was very, like, it's almost 4th of July. So it wasn't too bad. He wasn't too bad. He went off a lot about, like, veterans and army people and stuff, which I'm not gonna say anything about because it's fine. I have very complicated views on the military and everything, so like, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like I'm not supporting stuff that he's saying, but I'm also not, whatever. Yeah.
I get it.
So
I'm just seeing a song title called Rolex on a Redneck, and I'm just that's all I'm gonna say.
And there were a lot of like obnoxious drunk country people who were obviously like mostly there to see like him, and mom was like, maybe they'll leave before they go back, and then we'll like be able to like have a better time because like a lot of people will just be like gone in front of us. But that's they didn't, funny. Which is fine.
Okay.
Yeah, there was only like one super obnoxious guy. I mean, there was a couple people with him that were obnoxious, but specifically him, and he was right behind Nicole and Arjuna, so I felt really bad. And he was talking so loud. I'm like, do you guys need to like leave so you can like have a conversation while we're like trying to watch a band play music? Like,
yeah, hello.
Yeah.
You
So
remember when we went to see Nickelback, the people were also like pretty obnoxious there?
maybe a little bit. I only remember
Like,
that there was like how many? There was like young girls that were taller than us in front of us, that, like blocked our view of Seether, and they like threw a pick, and it was obviously to us because we were like showing that we were enthusiastic, and they had no idea what was going
yeah,
on, but they got it because they were taller than us. I remember that.
yeah. That, yes, that happened.
Yeah.
But also there were like, do you remember there was like that mom like right in front of us who like people would like kind of like press up and she would like throw a fit about it every time. And it was
Oh,
like, girl,
maybe.
stop.
Yeah.
Um,
You know, I mostly don't remember
anyways,
that, which is good. I'd rather just remember the good parts of
yeah,
Nickelback. Yeah.
yes. There were so many good parts, but
Yeah. I
yes.
was like going through my pictures and stuff before and after, and we were so close.
We were literally like on the barricade for
Yeah,
Nickelback.
yeah, it was so, yeah, it was just so awesome because we were in, I mean, we had a good view. We were in seats. We weren't in like bad seats at the Ridgefield Amphitheater,
Yeah.
which is on its like fifth name now in my lifetime, so I'm not even gonna, whatever. It's the Ridgefield Amphitheater. And
Yeah.
so it was good. And he had the Dark Horse guitar still. And he's just
Good.
like a funny guy. Like when he says stuff,
I
it's like, what's he
love
gonna say next? Because it's just like always so interesting to me. He was
Chad.
saying,
Yeah.
so they played Hero, which is from a
Yeah.
Spider-Man movie.
Mm-hmm.
Did they play that when we saw them? I don't remember. But he was telling this story about how, like, for a long time after they did that song, like, little kids would, like, come up to him and be like, it's Spider-Man. And he's like, no, I'm not Spider-Man.
Oh my god, that's
But
funny.
but he was just kind of talking about like how awesome it feels when like a little kid like calls you a superhero name.
Yeah.
It was, I don't know, it was just really funny. And then
Good.
when we saw him, did he reference the look at this photograph vine?
I don't know. All I know is that I screamed that.
Yeah.
You remember that? Because I was like,
I
look at
might.
this
Yeah.
crap.
Yeah. Because
So
he
I don't know if
said
he
that.
said
Like, he was like, if you are of a certain age, you might know this song as. And he, like, said, like, look at this graph. Like, he said it and, like, did, like, the arm thing. Like, he was like.
That's funny.
Yeah, he's, like, very aware. And I think he thinks it's
Good.
hilarious. Yeah.
Well, he should. It is funny.
Yeah, yeah. He's like a very funny guy. I'm like, I don't know,
Good.
sir, what your political leanings are, because the first time I saw you, Seether was opening for you, and the second time a country artist was. But it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna think about it.
Yeah. You know what?
Yeah, I'm not gonna think about it.
No, Nickelback is neat.
Yeah.
And that's all I have to say.
Yeah. So yeah, it was super
Um,
good. I'm glad that we got to go with our mom, because it was like the
Yes,
ultimate
it's
mom
Rock.
experience. There weren't as many, like, it wasn't like significantly like as mom as it was as when we saw them in England. I think because there were a lot of like specifically country people there.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like if you
Yeah.
didn't know any better, you'd like think we were at a country show. There were so many country people there.
Yeah.
It was a really
yeah.
interesting mix of like every once in a while I'd see someone who's like very obviously gay, and like I even saw like a couple like people who were like obviously lesbian couples, like not girl best friends, but like obviously lesbian couples. And then I would see like a guy with like a Trump hat, and I'm like, where am I right now?
Yeah,
And
where are you?
Justin said that he heard a man that was like drunk hobbling around, and he like stopped for a moment kind of near where Justin was, and he was like, why are there so many emo bitches here?
Because
like,
we like
what?
freaking Nickelback. That's
I
why.
thought that was really funny. I didn't even think that there was that many emo looking people there, but I'm like, that's fine. But yeah, anyway, so that was my most recent show, so it's the one that's like the most at the forward of my memory right now, but it was really good. Of course, it was so fun. Yeah, so that's my half year wrap up
Me
of
too.
concerts. Yeah. And we definitely talked long enough.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I'm glad that you had the idea of doing like a halfway point, because
we always know that if we're going to talk about music, we're going to talk about concerts, we're like never going to shut up.
Yes,
so
yeah.
we're like, give ourselves as much time as possible.
Yeah. I can't
but
believe
yeah,
we're seeing the Wonder Years again in the same year.
I know.
Yeehaw.
I know. Honestly, that's reason enough to like
Yeah.
have 2 separate
Yes.
episodes of talking about concerts we saw this year.
Yeah, I think I have like 4 so far for the rest of the year, so I know it's gonna be more because more will come up, you
Yeah.
know. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I think the only thing I have, well, I have 2 things kind of booked right now.
Mm.
One is obviously the Wonder Years in October, and then like the same week, which is crazy because I have like nothing else planned. But like the same week we're seeing oh, like the band name literally just like left my mind.
Oh no.
It's a band that Abe likes a lot.
Oh, okay.
We're going with like a couple people.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll talk about it next time we
Yep.
talk about concerts.
Yep.
But yeah, so it'll be fun, and yeah. I love going to concerts. So,
It's literally
you know.
my favorite thing to do, and it has been for over half my
Yeah.
life now. For a good port, you know.
Yeah.
It's yep. Yep.
Big true.
Yep.
Well, I'm gonna, go listen to Speak Now Taylor's version in 3 minutes, and
I'm gonna specifically find whatever song has Fall Out Boy and listen to that one first. You
yeah,
know,
you
I
should.
think it was Fearless. I don't remember. It was one that she did. It was like Taylor's version recently, and I actually did listen to it. And I was like emotional about it. I was like, oh my God, yeah, this is
Yeah.
meaning to me. So, Speak Now specifically, I may actually have to do that to myself.
Yeah, I kind of
Yeah.
recommend it, especially with the feature. I mean, it's kind of like the most like pop punky album of hers, to be honest.
I guess so, yeah, when you say it that way, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
anyways, that's
Okay.
my plans for the rest of the night.
Yep.
Glad we got to talk about music and concerts and new releases.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, until next time, love ya.
I love you too.
Bye.
Bye.